How you doing? Tori Edwards here. I'm the creator of Dinner with Friends, or Dinner W Friends if you're on Instagram. Check us out, follow us, go to the YouTube page, which is Mapmakers Studios, and you'll see some of our content. Dinner with Friends is a private dinner concept, or really a pop-up dinner concept, where we pop up at cool locations, invite cool people, and we talk about a lot of cool shit. So here is what we have. What you're about to watch is what we call Dinner with Friends side dish, where our table is normally 5 to 7 people. This time it's really 2 people, so we scaled it down, had it in a more intimate setting. We invited some cool people in at a place called Snake Nation in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're just having a conversation about a film called All Eyes on Me, the TUPAC Shakur biopic directed by Benny Boom. So we invited Benny Boom in, and also invited DEMETRIUS Shipp Jr., who plays Tupac in the movie, to have some conversation. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Mapmakers Studios and check us out on IG, Dinner W Friends. Peace. Welcome everybody to Dinner with Friends.
Did that real complete? Did that real complete? Man, that whole year I been playing. Told these niggas on it. Man, did that real complete? I been working all winter, making sure that my family eat dinner, making sure they know when I am. Man, did that real complete?
But before we get started, I just wanted to invite Carl to the table just so he could tell you real quick what it is he's doing. I just want to thank him for allowing us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. If you have a chance, check out snakenation.co. I know we try to get right into the show, but basically, Snake Nation is a home for creative rebels. And so what we really realize is, like, if you're a young creator of color, you don't necessarily have the same support systems as maybe others do. And so we wanted to create spaces for that to help monetize and distribute content in film, art, fashion, music, and technology. So if you have a chance, myself or Ty or Yami, we're all here with Snake Nation. Just pull us aside. You want to rap about it, absolutely. And again, snakenation.co, Facebook, Twitter, IG. Thank you, sir. All right, cool. Enjoy. Thank you.
And one more thing. Maybe I should wait till the end to do this, but I know Benny's got to make a swift exit when he leaves. But my man Pop is an artist, and he actually painted this portrait of Pop here, and he wanted to gift that to you. So come here, Pop.
Word, that's what's up.
That shit is
really
dope.
That's fly.
Benny, that's yours.
Oh, that's what's up. Thank you, man.
I mean, that alone, Benny, should let you know, just the responsibility, man, and just, you know, how people feel about you, overall doing what you did. You know what I'm saying? You stepped up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pop.
Thank you, man. That's dope. That's very dope. I was just peeping it too before you said it.
So with that said, y'all ready to get into it?
Yes. Get into it.
All right, Benny. It's so much, it's so much you could have done or said. So what was going through your mind when you got that call is what I want to know.
The first thing was just, it was the opportunity.
Right.
And I felt like all the years of music videos and commercials and next day air and stuff like that, and all that was preparation for that moment. So when I got the call, they sent me the script, and it was just, I wasn't going to say no. Even if the script wasn't right, I was going to change it. It's the opportunity to do,
coming, fight for it.
Yeah, but coming from hip hop and being able to direct a film about the greatest hip hop icon that we have, and arguably musically, like the greatest icon. Because if you think about those musical icons of Elvis and Bob Marley and those types of guys, Tupac is in that pantheon. If there's a Mount Rushmore of that. So for me, it was a no-brainer to say yes and to jump on the plane and come to Atlanta and get started on the movie. So
when you, in all honesty, when you first read the script, how'd you feel about it?
It was incredible. See, I had already spoken to the producers before over the years, and they were unhappy with a lot of scripts. I mean, they hired some really well-known writers to write the script, but they didn't understand the essence of hip hop. They didn't understand Tupac. They didn't understand our culture.
Right.
So
it's always like that.
Yeah. So this version of the script was all of those things. It combined not just his story in a way that made sense, but it also helped you understand hip hop and the culture and just our culture as black people. Because the film really, and one thing we talked about with Demetrius and with the producers is that we wanted to make sure that the film, if it wasn't Tupac, and we made this film, that it would still be a great film about a man who went, who was born in a certain circumstance, who fought for things, who spoke for things, who believed in stuff, who was conflicted in a way, and so that the drama was it didn't have to be Pac for it to be the drama. Now the icing on the cake was the fact that it was Pac.
I'll be real with you, like I knew that in the script, again, because I worked on it. I knew in the script that part of the opening was to talk about his family and being part of the movement, the New African movement, and they had the community center with the New African stuff.
Harlem,
in Harlem. I lit that room, just so everybody knows. I did that. So if it makes the film, I did it. But yeah, when I saw that, I was glad that they didn't abandon that part of it, especially with the climate or what's going on in America now. I just felt like it was important for them to show what he stood for. And I think that a lot of people, when they talk about Pac, we had Meek Mill talking about Tupac's back, no disrespect to Meek, but a lot of people always compare themselves to Pac in this era. But I think all people ever take from Pac's message, period, is thug life. Not the fact that Pac was a revolutionary. Pac, as much as he might have said, I wonder why they call you bitch, Pac respected women, you know what I'm saying? He also said, keep your head up. He lifted up, he uplifted women. So it was the complexity of man. There was a lot of duality there. And how did you feel about, did you feel responsible in capturing that overall?
Well, the first responsibility when you're making a film is to the material on the page, right? So you read the script, you get the material, and then you go, does it resonate with me, and is it something I'm passionate about? So it's not enough to just be passionate about Tupac and his legacy. The story has to be right. And that's where a lot of these movies fall short, where there may be a lot of passion built up about the artist or about the particular person, but the story that's being told isn't right. I mean, you could go in a million different directions with the story, so you got to pick a direction. In terms of the narrative, you pick that, and then from there, you attack that, and then once you figure out what you want to do with that, then you add all the nuances of Tupac and that part of his life, and all. So so it's like, the movie could have been about, honestly, it could have been about the 7 days from the time he got shot till he died, and that's another movie. That's a whole other movie. That's a movie in of itself, or it could have just been about the time he got to death row, or so it's a lot that and that's a whole movie in and of itself. But what we wanted to do was really give the people, because just like you said, there are a lot of artists, and it ain't just new artists. I mean, Ja Rule, DMX, all these guys picked up the mantle for Pac after he passed. Like X was like the next Tupac.
Even T.I.
But before that though, DMX had
DMX was
tattooed on his back.
DMX was Pac.
He was it. Like he was all the films that Pac would have done. DMX fit right into that role. Like absolutely. After Belly, I mean, all of that stuff that would have been Pac in that movie. So, so it's not just newer artists. He had an effect on artists of his generation. And so it's not like I think it's good when artists look back and take a piece, because as an artist, right, whether you're a rap artist, singer, writer, director, or whatever, you got a voice, and your voice, you look for things to help magnify your voice. And for some people who grow up in a certain situation, there's that piece of Tupac that helps magnify them. They may not be that well versed in Shakespeare like Pac was, but they down with other stuff. You know what I mean? Like the street stuff. That's what they know. But if they can learn about Shakespeare through their experiences of learning about Pac, then he's done something.
So
that's
even
what
for the person that super thug life, you got a chance to pulling them over to the other side.
Yeah, because if you really get into the man, then you say it. Because he said, you know, I'm not going to change the world, but I will spark the brain that will change the world, and that's what he's done. I mean, Obama sat up there at the one of the dinners at the reporter dinner and said that dissing Donald Trump, saying that he's still trying to figure out who murdered Biggie and Tupac. This is the president of the United States.
This the leader of the free world.
Right. So you mean to tell me that his brain wasn't sparked by Pac? Of course it was. That's what he meant when he said that. Not, you know, he meant that, but he also meant that the kid born in 2000 that wasn't even on the planet the same time that he was is going to gravitate to his message and to what he was and to what he represented.
So let me ask you
Is that real or complain? Is that real or complain? Man, that whole year I been playing. Told these niggas on it. Man, is that real or complain? I been working all winter, making sure that my